Welcome, everyone. Hi, my name is Troy Porter, and I am the board chair for the Rothko Chapel. And on behalf of the Rothko Chapel Board of Directors and the broader chapel community, I want to welcome you to the 2023 Rothko Chapel Óscar Romero Award. This is a very important occasion and ritual in the life of the chapel that serves as the focal point of our human rights and social justice commitments. It is a pleasure to be standing here with these distinguished honorees who are the connection between the local, national, and international struggles and demonstrate the power in working in solidarity with our communities. So welcome again, and I want to turn our program over to David Leslie, who will tell you more about the Rothko Chapel and the Óscar Romero Award.
Troy, thank you very much. I want a little calendar thing that came to my mind today in talking to our colleague Kelly Johnson. Do you realize this is the first time we've been back in the chapel for the Óscar Romero Award in person since 2017? Isn't that amazing? So big hand for all who are here. We have a very good, robust online audience this afternoon, so welcome, and it's just great to be back in the house again. For more than 50 years, the Rothko Chapel has been a place of pilgrimage, welcoming visitors from all over the world seeking solace, respite, and renewal within the walls of this transformative sanctuary, envisioned by Jean and Dominique Demenil and designed by the artist Mark Rothko. Exemplified by Barnett Newman's broken obelisk that stands on the plaza in front of the chapel and dedicated to the living legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, the chapel engages daily the social, political, religious, and economic issues that often determine where we end up in life. Central to all of our efforts is the commitment to be a safe and sacred place where voices will not be silenced, even when what is communicated makes us uncomfortable, challenges the political and social norms of the day, and calls for changes of perspectives and practices that lead to a more just, caring, humane, and equitable society. So it's within this context that the chapel established and presented the first Óscar Romero Award in 1986 in honor and memory of the life and witness of the then and now Saint Óscar Romero, who was murdered in March 1980 while celebrating Mass in a Catholic hospital chapel in El Salvador. His murder, you see, was the avocation for the poor and all who had been outcast and marginalized in El Salvador in the face of intense economic, political pressure from the government. He is now known internationally and has inspired countless others to advocate for justice in their communities. The Óscar Romero Award is given to grassroots individuals or organizations working to address injustices in community with others who display a profile of courage or courageous struggle such that their vocation puts their lives, their reputations, and often their livelihoods at risk. Awardees represent diverse regions of the world, addressing a wide range of crucial and critical issues such as immigration, peace in the Middle East, mass incarceration, indigenous rights, and the impact of climate change on all of us. Today's award ceremony is the culmination of the chapel's 2-year initiative, Beyond the Rhetoric, Civil Rights and Our Shared Responsibility, focused particularly on civil rights at risk in the United States. The initiative has provided important opportunities to listen to one another and to garner insights into different understandings about the very concept of rights and how civil rights have been experienced across communities in this nation. We have engaged diverse, critical, and often interrelated issues, including LGBTQ rights, indigenous perspectives on the concepts of rights, censorship, challenges that immigrants face in court, and efforts to roll back voting rights. Our guides and our teachers include community leaders and activists representing diverse sectors, including the arts, religion, academia, and philanthropy. Now, through this two-year initiative, three distinct learnings emerged that exemplify the lives and vocational commitments of this year's awardees. First, civil and human rights should never be taken for granted, nor soon to be applied universally. Second, regardless of one's beliefs about or positions on critical and emotionally charged issues, such as reproductive rights and climate change, the growing and dehumanizing level of vitriol and violence must be a concern to all of us, for this is not just a political or public safety crisis, but in fact is a spiritual existential catastrophe where a person's very worth, their meaning, and their existence is not only called into question, but is at severe risk. Third, the work to create a world where the dignity and worth of all is honored and protected is not easy and is everyone's responsibility. For as St. Óscar Romero said, peace is dynamism, peace is generosity, it is a right, and it is a duty. So it's with that we gather today to honor and express our deepest gratitude to the 2023 Óscar Romero Award honorees. The People's Paper Co-op from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, represented by Courtney Bowles and Mark Strandquist. I think we're going to do a lot of clapping today. The Reverend Erica Ferguson, Principal in Vision Justice and Reproductive Justice Post Roe from Dallas, Texas. And Seconda Joseph, co-founder and director of Smart Media and organizing with Imagine Noir BLMTX from right here in Houston, Texas. I think there's some people in the house. What do you think? In a few minutes, we'll hear from the honorees, but I do want to extend once more our collective gratitude for their collective vocational commitment and witness. Thank you all so much. Now, putting on a program like this takes a lot of folks. I can't name them all. Many are in your program. You'll meet them today, but I do want to lift up the 2023 Award Nomination Committee, the Chapel's Program Committee. I echo Troy, the Board of Directors, my staff colleagues, and particularly Kelly Johnson and Ana Martinez, who are on our program team, for their outstanding leadership and stewardship of both the award and the chapel. We are also grateful for the financial support from the Jacob and Therese Hershey Foundation, the Dudley T. Doherty Foundation, and all the donors who helped underwrite this year's Óscar Romero Award and the 2022-23 program season, ensuring that the chapel and our programs are open and accessible to all. Big hand to all the supporters. Now, one last word about today's program. Following the invocation, Kelly Johnson, our Director of Public Programs, will introduce and present each awardee. After the awards presentation, board member and chair of the chapel's program committee, Omar El-Hawagi, will moderate a conversation with the awardees, giving us an opportunity to learn more about their work and what sustains their spirits working on the front lines of social justice. Following the program, there will be a reception on the plaza, providing additional opportunities for community and conversation. So with that, again, it's my pleasure to welcome you and add my welcome to the Rothko Chapel and to present our board member and senior pastor of Covenant Church Houston, the Reverend Laura Mayo, who will deliver the invocation.
All right, thank you, Reverend Laura, for centering us in this sacred space today. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Johnson. I am the program director here at the Rothko Chapel. The nominations and selection process for this year's Romero awardees was as challenging as it was inspiring. I'm grateful we're able to gather here to celebrate grassroots work together today and cultivate a much-needed moment of joy, reflection, and recognition amidst our ongoing struggles for justice. All right, so are y'all ready to get the party started tonight? All right, let's do it. So I will be presenting the awardees in order of geographical distance from the chapel, starting with those furthest from Houston and ending with our hometown honoree. Our next awardee is Reverend Erica Ferguson, an ordained interfaith minister and community organizer from Dallas, who is on the spiritual front lines of the reproductive justice fight here in Texas. Reverend Erica is the principal of Envision Justice, the reproductive justice strategy firm of the future, providing strategic guidance, tactical support, and mission assistance to organizations, private companies, and leaders in government to craft messaging and create frameworks for unique programs around reproductive justice. She's also the Chief Visionary Officer of Reproductive Justice Post Row, a vibrant online movement and community that provides practical knowledge, tools, and skills for any individual to influence their own circle on reproductive justice. Trained initially as an educator and drawing upon her own personal experience, Reverend Erica knows what a successful movement is made of: networks of people willing to bridge divides, to say it plain, and to take risks for the benefit of the whole. Throughout her reproductive justice career, Reverend Erica has challenged the dehumanization of people and brought her compassionate light to their reproductive stories. Fighting for reproductive justice led her to answer the call to become an interfaith minister over 15 years ago and a national public speaker on matters of reproductive justice. Reverend Erica was a co-litigant in the landmark Texas Senate Bill 8, known as the Heartbeat Bill, in 2021, as a plaintiff represented by the Center for Reproductive Rights, and she has blessed clinics, escorted patients, and organized clergy in support of reproductive rights. Reverend Erica has made it her life's mission to ensure reproductive rights are possible for future generations, and she believes we must be bold and brave in crafting a new vision for the movement that includes and works for everyone. She says, "I feel called to make sure that religion and faith are not used as tools of oppression, but instead guide us toward our collective liberation." Please join me in honoring Reverend Erica Ferguson with the 2023 Óscar Romero Award.
I should let it be said, you should never give a minister a microphone. But I do try to follow the Beatitudes, which is to be brief, to be clear, and be seated. I'd like to first thank the Rothko Chapel and the host committee for bestowing this honor upon me. I am not sure that I will find the words, and I am a wordy person. I'd also like to thank my fellow awardees for inspiring me with the work that you do every day. I know that it is not easy. I'd also like to tell you the truth. I would not be here if it were not for the love and the care and the support of my family. My children, I know it sounds trite, but they are the reason I do the work that I do. My father in love, for inspiring me with a deep sense of what it looks like to love someone that you haven't known your entire life. And lastly, my husband, who every day supports me, reminds me, enlivens me, and inspires me. Truly, I am here because of his love. And to my grandparents on the other side of the veil, and my ancestors, I am because they are. I'd also like to leave you with 3 words. And these 3 words are important because they are the stepping stones for the future. And they're important because they become the guiding light in which each of you can follow your own unique path. You see, all of us have a reproductive story. Each one of us got here as a result of someone's reproductive efforts. These 3 words are appreciation, activation, and elevation. And I start with appreciation because everything grows when you appreciate it. And what you appreciate sends a message to those about their worth and their dignity and their inherent goodness. If you're not sure whether appreciation is vital, imagine how good you feel when someone says thank you. I'd also like to leave you with the word of activation. And the reason this word is important is because each and every one of us is activated by something. And I want to differentiate between a trigger and an activation. A trigger is something that happens outside of you. Activation is something that comes from within you. Each of us has the power within our own selves to do something for someone. It is not just me. It is each and every one of us that make up a movement. It is each and every one of us that has the opportunity to activate something within ourselves. It is not something that has to be great, grand, and glorious by society's standards. It could be looking at the person next to you and telling them, I see you. I'm here for you. I care about you. We do not have to spend our days suppressing the goodness of who we are. And I dare say that the world that works for everyone, the future of reproductive justice, is in our own hands. I am simply a representative of all of you. I am a reflection of infinite possibilities. I will also say that the work that I do is risky. It's dangerous, but so is love. I'd like to leave you with elevation. And the reason elevation is such an incredible word on this road towards reproductive justice is because each of us has the opportunity to elevate what is real, what is righteous, and what is true. And there is no opposition. There is only an awareness that each of us belongs to each other, that none of us gets free unless we all get free. And that goes for cisgender white men, and that goes for those that are gay or straight, and that goes for those that are the most marginalized. That goes for every one of us. No one gets left behind in the vision for the future. I want you all to know that to move towards justice is simple. We simply search our hearts. We do what is right when the time is right. I'd like for you to indulge me by taking an oath. I would call it a vow. If you will, would you please stand if you're able? I'd like for you to place your hands over your heart. I'd like for you to know that this moment is precious. It's sacred. There will never be another moment like this again. And as you feel your heartbeat, allow it to remind you that the work that we're doing is not for us. We are already benefiting because we're here now. The work that we do now towards reproductive justice are for those that don't even exist yet. And if you would take this vow with me, repeat after me, I know you can do this. I promise to live from my heart, to love from my heart, and to do what's right in my heart. And if each of us do that every single day, one day at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time, we will create a world that works for everyone. You've just taken a vow. Now your marching orders are to go out and live it. Thank you.
So let's give our 2023 Rothko Chapel Óscar Romero awardees another big round of applause as they return to the stage. Come on up.
We have a reception waiting outside for all of you to continue to celebrate, to nourish, and to feel joy. For those of you who are part of the program, we're just going to take a quick picture if you could come up to the stage. But for everyone else, we'll see you outside. Thank you so much for coming.